Okay, start. Here we go.
Okay. All right. It's been 2 weeks since you set out from the defenders' camp in the south. There were five of you to begin with, but through the long and arduous journey through the open fields, your numbers have dwindled to three. You knew it was a dangerous task when it was assigned to you, but you went regardless. There's no space for cowards in the defenders. As you've made your way north, following the North Star, it's gotten colder and colder and colder. It's rather late in the season for it to be this cold. What was initially just some sprinkles of rain has shifted into strong blowing gusts of snow. The three of you are tasked with checking the cairn of where's his name? Oh no, I wrote it down somewhere.
This is a really long name for a cairn.
uh, the cairn of Oswald Rivermouse. Oswald Rivermouse is a well-known mouse hero from centuries ago, but his cairn has been left undisturbed for those many years as mouse folk have moved further south and south. Legends tell of his legendary weapon buried in the cairn, and recently a messenger uh, visited your camp with news of that weapon. You were tasked to investigate this rumor, bring back the weapon for the defenders. Along the way, you've heard that you are not the only ones after this weapon. And so it is that as the sun gets low on the horizon, as dogs whimper in the distance, and um, and as the snow blows across the icy plains, you see rising above the horizon almost a mountain. It's a large pile of rocks.
It's at
Uh,
least a molehill.
it's to you far larger than a molehill,
Hmm.
or I guess molehills are pretty big to you. It's pretty large.
Well, it could be.
It is far larger than a molehill. Um, but in the unseasonable cold, you see that snow is piling up against this mound, this burial mound, and ice has begun to form on the rocks. Um, the day is dwindling, the night is getting colder, and you make your approach to the cairn. Um, I guess looking at the cairn, you can see there is on the left, there's a large pile of snow. You can tell I didn't write this down. On the left, there's a large pile of snowdrift being driven by the hard snow that you think you could feasibly climb up. And in the center, you see the main entrance of the cairn, half covered with snow, but definitely mouse sized. To the right, the stone is piled high and very neatly, like 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 as if it's architecture. Um, and yeah, you're running out of supplies. Your mission is nearing its end. What would you like to do?
Uh,
How far are we from this thing now? Like, are we within
You're within
like
walking distance. It'd make
a
you maybe
sprint?
take you 10 minutes to get there. It is an
Okay.
open field. There's no trees or cover anywhere.
All right. Peep immediately raises his sword and shouts to his comrades, "Finally, our quest is at an end. Charge!" And then just starts running
Okay,
with no regard for anything else.
let me figure out how random encounters work again.
how do random encounters
Um,
work? So this game is about mice, right?
yeah. River, what are you doing?
How to play. I am in control of and acting in the role of my mouse. Good to know.
Yo.
So should we introduce who we all are?
It was too far away to be introduced.
Okay. Peep's voice, tiny mouse voice, echoes across the plains, bouncing off of the hard snowy ground, and then eventually returning to you in a warped, echoey version. You're sure you're not the only ones who've heard it, and as the other two, Minoram and Bill, look around out of instinct, they see a dark shadow moving across the snowy downs.
Well, that can't be good.
Well,
Even at this
after
distance-
him!
Even at this distance, you know
And
that whatever that thing is, it's far too large for you to deal with.
That's cowards talk.
Minoram, seeing somebody having taken the lead, takes out his swing and starts swinging it wildly above his head, charging afterwards.
All right, we both have slings. Cool.
Okay.
Bill is going to do something quite similar, except he's not swinging his sling around remotely as fervently. He's following.
Okay. Where are you heading? You can head straight at the door if you'd like. You can scout around either to the left or to the right. Straight at the door.
Peep doesn't scout.
Okay. Peep
Charges towards the obvious target.
Peep charges very obviously towards the very obvious target. And as you reach the target, you're the first to arrive in your gusto. You're the first to arrive. And as soon as you get up to this stone door, you realize that there's not really a door handle. It doesn't seem like this door was ever really meant to be opened. It was meant to be closed and left. And even as you get up close, you can see River. Are you puking?
Oh no.
So,
That's wild if a river could puke. Isn't that just called like a stream at that point?
Gross.
A flood.
Yeah, even looking at this at a glance, even if it did have a door handle, you would need to clear off snow and probably ice to get it open.
He mostly disregards this and immediately starts like banging and trying to get something that he can grab onto, and
Okay.
then realizing he can't, starts insulting the door.
Okay.
Things along the line of "Open, you cowardly gate! Let me in, so that I
make a
can
will
plunder your
save.
riches."
Make a will save.
That's 2d6, and I need to get lower.
Nope, it's D20 and you need to get lower.
D20. No shot. 17 out of 8.
The door is very unintimidated. It's unmoved by your eloquence. Yeah, you pounding on the door. I mean, it's frigid. It's cold. Your paws are, you don't really have your winter coat anymore, so your paws are a little bit extra chilly. It doesn't take long for this to reveal how futile it is. As you're pounding on the door and shouting, you hear a stirring behind you, and your two mousy companions catch up.
well,
His
that's
door is
never gonna
broken.
work.
Did we have to run?
Yes. Our quest is nearly at an end. We must hasten it. Now, come on, with all three of us, maybe we have a better shot at getting this door open. Should I try to pull it again?
I don't know, maybe we should clear it off a little bit first. It seems a little heavy at the moment.
Bill takes out
Why, we need
his.
three of us.
Bill takes out the smooth piece of colored glass that he has, and holds it up to his blood red eye, and looks at the door to see if anything reveals itself. The way I'm thinking of this is that it's not magical in any way, but it is like a vaguely purpley kind of glass, similar to how like golfers wear special glasses to see their balls easier in the grass.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have no idea if this is even feasible.
Well, you definitely feel like the colored glass helps you see. You're definitely sure of that. And as you bring it up to your eye and inspect every nook and cranny of this door, a thought dawns on you that, well, this is not a swinging door. This is a sliding door, obviously. There's no door handle, so how else could it have been put there? But it looks like whatever mechanism allowed it to slide is long since rotted away. And moreover, it's frozen in place.
Well, it's
My
hopeless.
Minoram is going to break out his torch and light it,
Okay.
and begin slowly moving it along the edges of the door where it's frozen in place.
Okay, sure enough, the heat very quickly starts to melt the ice. The ice is pretty thin at this point. It hasn't been snowing long. Um, and yeah, the ice starts to slowly drip away. It's taking some time though because there's a lot of door and not a lot of torch. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you figure if you gave it some patience and some elbow grease, you could get it thawed in about 10 minutes.
Minoram's arm starts getting tired halfway through. Come on, don't you guys have torches too?
I mean, I do, but it's hopeless.
No, Bill.
Bill's had a rough couple weeks.
People join in and start working from the other end, but while he's melting, he's also using his sword to just like hack at the ice. I don't know if that actually helps, but it makes him feel better.
It certainly
Just-
makes him feel better.
Get the bigger chunks. They're harder to melt through.
As you're
Give him a frigate.
as Minoram is talking, one of the ice chunks flies off and smacks him in the snout.
Ah! He drops the torch on the ground. That really hurt.
Ape also drops his torch and it attacks the location where the ice came from with increased vigor.
It's like a wood chipper except for ice. I guess an ice chipper. Yeah. How long do you keep at this?
Until the door's
Just
free.
until he tires himself out. He's swearing at the door, calling it a cur and a coward for attacking his friends.
Minoram is largely just melting the bottom where the track is now, covering his face from the ice from above.
Yep. And Bill, what are you up to?
You said earlier that there was some large shadow in the distance.
Sure enough.
I think Bill is.
It was large for your scale.
Yes.
You could see the shadow, but not the creature that cast it.
Yes, I think what Bill is doing is keeping an eye out for everyone, just like watching the surroundings to see if there's any incoming danger.
Okay. Why don't you roll a will save and I'll tell you what you see.
That's not great. Yeah, it wasn't great. 11 out of 9.
The snow stings your eyes, making it harder to see.
Time out. He does have goggles.
He does have goggles. The snow doesn't sting your eyes. Why don't you roll with advantage because you have goggles?
Okay. That time it was a 9?
That's great. That passes. You can't be 100% sure that it's gone, whatever it was. But you see neither hide nor tail out in the wintry downs.
Well, it'll be back.
We'll say like another 10 minutes passes of this. And, despite the chaos of your approach, you are making real progress on that door. Water is dripping down the front of this stone door, the intricately carved kind of indentations in the stone door are starting to accumulate little puddles of water as you're working your way through the ice. Would you like to do anything else?
No, I'm making the puddles, so I gotta keep doing what I'm doing.
Okay, you keep at it for another 10 minutes. Bill, what are you doing in this time?
Bill pulls the fish hook out of the strap he has around his back, and he walks up and says, "I don't know if this will help or anything, but maybe I could use this as a lever or something," and tries to fit it into the door somewhere where the melting has happened.
Well, yeah, so you're able to kind of poke and prod at the seams of the door and around the edges of the door on the door frame, you're able to kind of use it to pull out some of the ice, and now it's sort of becoming slush as the torch melts it. Um,
Now my
and
feet are wet.
and eventually you're able to get enough of a sort of grasp in with the fish hook that you can get a little bit of leverage on the door. What would you like to do with that?
Pull on it.
Okay. Roll a strength save. With advantage because you've got a
Oh.
lever.
I failed.
You failed? It's, man, I mean, you put every bit of muscle in your little mousy body into it. You even put yourself in between the lever and the door and you push really hard. Nothing doing. You feel a little bit of shifting, but nothing productive.
That figures.
Is it like visible? Can we see? Does the door move at all? Even if it's
It,
can't get underneath it.
it doesn't open. But being confident as Peep normally is, you're pretty sure that it's opening. Pretty sure. If you just
I
keep
think
at it.
seeing that, we'll give a cheer and say, "Well done, Bill. That is an excellent use of tools, and that gives me an additional idea. I'm going to pull out the spear that I have and basically do the same thing.
Okay.
I'll I don't know, find something as a fulcrum, a chunk of ice or
Okay.
something, and try to pry from the other side.
Yeah. What do you mean by pry from the other side? So we'll
Like if he
say.
was working on one side of the door, door is rectangular.
Uh-huh.
Try to pop it up.
Okay. Roll a strength check. Yeah, same with Bill. If you're gonna try again.
Okay. Ooh, I succeed. I got 3 of 9.
Bill.
Oh, I have to roll as well.
Yeah, if you're trying again.
I rolled a 2, which
rolled a
does
2?
succeed.
You both push really hard in opposite directions, and it doesn't go anywhere.
Oh, is this not sliding up?
No, it's sliding
Oh.
side to side.
All right. Well, Peep has no idea why that didn't work.
I mean, you did feel some like cracking, and so maybe like you loosened the ice a little bit.
Bill releases the hook and like puts his hand on the door and starts leaning against it, potentially in the direction it'll slide. It's like, I don't even know what we're gonna do now. I'm so tired.
The door kind of, for the first time, you feel it push back a little bit against your weight. Not that it pushes back a little bit and then it hits something hard.
Guys, I think I broke it.
Well,
Foiled by a door.
try harder. If we break it more, maybe it'll let us in.
He pulls his fishhook out and he swings it at the door.
Like in what way?
Like he's trying to scratch the side of it.
Okay, I mean, I'm not even gonna make you roll. Like, you're able to do that. You get a good big chunk out of it, and maybe ding your fishhook a little bit.
Oh, guys.
Nice white scratch on the door. What would you guys like to do? You feel very exposed out here.
I think Peep has too much anxious energy to be breaking against this door, so he's just going to run a lap around the whole cairn.
Okay, I mean, it's
ostensibly
pretty
just
big.
to, like burn off energy, but
It's pretty big. It'll probably take you like half an hour to get around it.
oh, okay, then maybe not that much.
Yeah.
You said there was like there was another potential avenue of entrance, the pile of rocks that were all.
So yeah, so if you look to your left, that seems to be the windward side, and there's been a pretty large accumulation of snow. You feel like you probably climbed that with pretty relative ease, although that's even more exposed than where you are. If you look to the right, that's more you can see the side of the stone cairn and maybe some ice waterfalls pouring down. Maybe there's a way in one of those two ways. But the stoneward side, I guess if you're looking north, the west side is the one with the stone drift. snowdrift. The east side is in the shadow with the sun setting on the east, in the west. So you feel like you'd be less exposed going that way.
Well, what should we do? This door clearly is defective. We need to find another avenue of attack. Shall we go east or west?
I'm sorry, guys.
It's not your fault. Whoever built this door, clearly an idiot.
I really don't think we should be going through any of the water. Not in this temperature, we'll freeze.
Yeah, I'm a summer home, not a winter home.
Well, does that mean we go east? Stay out of the snow?
Let's start there for now.
Bill pushes himself up from where he was sitting dejectedly on in front of the door to see if maybe does that open the door. Pushes off the door. He stands up and pushes off the door again.
It's the same thing where like the door kind of pushes back and then hits something hard, and then when you get off of it, it settles back down.
We haven't tried putting any sideways force on the door yet, have we? Or you tried wedging your hook in there and...
He did, and he made some progress, but it didn't budge the first time.
Mm-hmm. I just don't have a lot of tools right now to do anything with.
You do have the tools that Bill has. I have a fish hook, and we have a spear.
As mice, like, coming from the south, you were not prepared for this weather at all. It shouldn't be this cold this late in the season, yet it is.
Looking at the bottom of the door where it's on like a track or whatever, is there any like gaps I could wedge something under it?
The bottom?
Yeah.
No, I mean the stone is definitely sitting in the tracks. But I mean maybe with some leverage you could get it open, get it up off the ground, that is.
Mm-hmm.
With a fish hook and a spear.
All right. Yeah, let's try using your fish hook to lift the door up a little bit.
Okay. Bill wedges the fish hook underneath, and
roll a strength check with advantage. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say yes, he lifts it. I got an 8. I think that yes, I have 9 strength.
Okay, with a mighty heave, using almost all of your strength to get this thing up off the ground, you pull it up and get it so that it's like you've got the whole weight of this stone door on your fish hook, and as you push up, the fish hook even slides a little bit further down into the divot.
Right. As soon as there's a little bit of a gap under the door, Minoram's gonna wedge his torch underneath, so it's like on a roller.
Okay. You do that successfully. You've got plenty of space for that.
All right. Now we just need to take the hook in the side, and we can just roll across.
Do you take the hook to the side, or
yeah,
are we leaving? Okay.
Now it's all on top of the torch, which is round, so
yeah.
We'll roll over the torch.
Okay. Bill walks to one or the other side.
Okay. You try the left side first and put a good heave on it, and you feel it shift and then hit something hard.
There's always something hard. Why can't it just be easy? And then he walks to the right.
Okay. You try the same thing again, and sure enough, with just a little bit of force applied to it, you've loosened all the ice, and the whole thing rolls slowly across. You're able to get it open just a little bit, wide enough that a single mouse can fit through before it falls off the torch and settles back into the track with a mighty thunk, thunk, thunk.
Oh,
right.
Well, I guess it was easy.
Hold on, Bill.
Would you count this as 1 or 2 uses of the torch, considering I both lit it to melt stuff and rolled something on top of it?
We'll say it's just 1 use of the torch, and the reason for that is you're not using any more fuel to do that. So I'm just assuming that you're not going to use your torch as like a...
I just figured heavy stone door, there's a chance the torch gets damaged or breaks or something like that.
No, I think that was a reasonable enough use for it that it's not going to get hugely damaged. At least
Nice.
not to an unusable extent.
All right.
Okay. You guys enter one by one into the dark shadows of this initial chamber. Minor M's torch flickers and casts shadows on the ceiling and walls of this room. In this room, let me. Blah, blah, blah. Welcome
Well,
to
Whoa.
welcome to the Crystal Cairn.
I just want to be safe in case there's no other way in or out. And Minoram's gonna take out his jar of honey, put a little bit over the torch to melt it, and sort of rub it along the door so that it can't be closed behind us.
Rub it along, like to stick it in place.
Along the track so that people can't like slide the door closed behind us.
Okay, yeah, that's easy enough to do.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. You've entered the first initial chamber, and as Minoram does that with his torch, the other two, you take stock of this room. It's a narrow corridor with sort of two sets of alcoves on either side of the room. Within the alcoves, there's statues of mouse heroes in various heroic postures. Snouts held high and swords in hands. That sort of statue has been out of date for a long time. It feels very ancient to you. On the other end of the door, on the other end of the entry area, there's an empty door, a doorway.
Uh,
He walks along the hallway and just poses in front of each statue, imitating their stance until he finds the
Okay.
one that he likes the best.
Yeah, you start on one side, on the left side, and you kind of imitate the pose of the first statue on the left side. Um, he's kind of got like kind of stoic. He's got his sword pointed down and his snout held high. He's got some sort of runes on his what are these called?
Pauldrons.
Pauldrons. That's the word. He looks like some sort of mouse knight. You kind of imitate the pose, and what does Peep think?
He appreciates the grandeur, but this, a sword pointed down is a sword that's not pointed at an enemy. So what's the point?
A little too
Put games on?
ceremonial. Yeah,
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 he
makes
wants
sense.
somebody who's like about to kill,
Okay.
a true knight.
Okay. Okay, so you look around at the other three statues, and then maybe one on the other side, the other one on the left side of the hall, the foyer area, kind of catches your eyes. He's got his sword pointed up, and it seems like maybe these ancient mice didn't really have the sculpting technology that you have nowadays, so it's still kind of like upright and very formal, but the sword is sure enough pointed straight up.
This is much better. Are
Would you like
these
to would you like to
recognizable
walk
figures?
over? Are you gonna go pose in front of it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it, trying to imitate it.
Okay.
Are
So as you
these?
walk across the foyer and cross the middle of the foyer, one of the big flagstones under your feet depresses slightly, and a set of concealed poison dart traps between the statues goes off. Make a dex save as you hear the click to get out of the way.
13 out of 12, just barely not enough.
You make a sudden dive onto the floor, and you're just grazed by one of these poison darts. It's not enough to really damage you, but you feel like you've had a close call. Take 3 HP damage.
that's a lot.
You've spent some of your luck for the day.
Ah, cowards! Using traps instead of facing me like a man, like a true mouse.
Are you a man or a mouse? Yes.
All right, a little more wary, but I continue to make my pose because this is important to me.
You make your way even more carefully. You kind of like touch each flagstone before putting your weight on it to make sure that it's not a pressure plate. Sure enough, it looks like there was just one strip of pressure plates across the middle of the room. As you step into the further half of the foyer area, you're able to, make the pose of the kind of upright sword held aloft mouse. How does Pete feel about that?
Feels better. He appreciates someone who's ready for action, protection.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like this is someone that he can really emulate.
And emulate, you do.
Would he recognize any of these? Like this person in particular, or any of the statues? Are they like? Well,
No,
it's obviously.
they seem there's no inscription on the bottom, at least not in any language you read. Seems like maybe these were someone back then, but not important enough to have like a name. Maybe I don't know. You feel like maybe these old, kings and whatnot would make statues of generic knights to protect them in the afterlife. That sounds like the kind of thing they would do.
It's plenty important enough for people.
Yeah, the entry foyer, the rest of you kind of take stock of the room, and there's some snow blowing in through the now held open door, but otherwise it seems like this is just an entry.
Bill goes over to the empty doorway on the other side and peeks in and tries to gauge the situation and any potential danger.
Okay. Through the empty doorway, it was hard to tell from inside the foyer, but as you make your way into this sort of second room, you can see it's actually a T-shaped room with yourself at kind of like. So if this is the T, you're at the bottom of the T in the middle, right? It's a T-shaped room, and then to the left and to the right, you see another set of alcoves with statues on either side, and then closed doors on either side of the hallway. Straight ahead, there's no doorway on the other side. Instead, there's sort of an ancient crumbling chest on a pedestal. Two more sets of alcoves on either side. And more of those suspicious flagstones on the floor.
Bill says, "Guys, I think it's a chest of some kind. It's probably trapped. Do we want to look at that, or will it be the end of our mission?"
So we need to inspect it. Probably is trapped, given the cowards that we've faced so far, but we will be greater cowards to not risk the trap itself.
Minoram is going to pull out his dubious treasure map and see if this location is marked on it.
There is definitely maybe like there's like an X-shaped symbol on the map. Maybe it's meant to be a T and someone just drew
Do it
a line
wrong.
a little bit too far. Yeah.
I don't know about this place, guys. If it was important, they would have put a bigger X. Maybe it's best if we just leave it.
I have time to go home. Bill, after looking through the door, he will carefully walk up to the chest and take out his purple, colorful glass and look through that at the chest.
Okay. Bill, as you make your way into the room. Wait, sorry, did you say you're entering the room?
Yes.
Okay. As you enter the room,
You die. There's a whole explosion.
There's a whole ass explosion. You hear a sudden crack and then some voices echoing from deeper in the cairn.
Bill turns around and goes back out the door and says, "Guys, I don't think we're alone. You might want to get over here."
What type of door is this doorway? Is it like a gate that opens and closes, or?
There's nothing in it's just a door frame, like a nice stone with like a huge lintel across the top. It's door frame.
So there's empty door there's a door on each side of the T-shaped room, and then there's no doors in the other end, but it's just the chest with like
it's
some holes at the
like
edges.
a nice ornately framed kind of alcove at the very end for
Any chance we
some.
could get this on something, let's say like uh, Microsoft Paint?
Yeah, we'll do that.
In terms of the voices of the other people here, this mission that brought us here in the first place, is this something we could reasonably assume other people were also given? And that potentially these are other adventurers?
Um, you got this message from an unknown stranger that showed up in the middle of camp one day. It's a rumor that you're tracking down, and yeah, it's possible that someone else got the same rumor. So you guys
This
entered.
isn't official. Can you remind me what the Defenders' ethos is?
So you would know that the Defenders are like a loose gang of mouse adventurers who are committed to protecting the little folk in, this region. Um, you are not particularly high level defenders, but you're seasoned adventurers.
So it's not like a royal army, but it is
No,
a group of
it's closer to like guerrilla sort of vigilantes.
vigilantes. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. So this is the main gate that you came in through, and then there's this like foyer area with a big door frame. So you guys are in this room right now. And then there's this T-shaped area with a door here. And then there's kind of this area, and then like this. And then there's a set of statue alcoves on either side of each of these. What is
Sorry, my
Everything okay?
roommates are probably playing Marvel Rivals.
okay? I mean, I assumed, but it definitely feels like maybe you should call 911 also.
Nah, they'll be fine.
And then there's a chest right here.
Just
And
make
then-
sure your door is locked and everything will be okay.
What are you talking about? I'm the main character. I can't die.
You have brown hair. The main character always has wacky colored hair. Ben is the main character.
So yeah, so if you enter this room here, you can see left there's a closed wooden door on either side. And then yeah.
Do we have an idea of where the crack came from?
It's really echoey in here, so it's very hard to say. It did sound like obviously it's not coming from this direction because there's no openings, but it really could have come from either direction.
And where are the three statues that Peep is hanging out with?
Here, sorry.
Okay. I thought they were in that room. I wanted to make sure.
And then this is where the trap was.
Yeah, having seen the first trap, do I feel confident enough that I can identify more? There are weird flagstaffs in this new room.
I mean, it was a pressure plate. The stone that you kind of stepped on looked a whole lot like the other stones. So it seems like whatever they're doing, they're just setting a stone on top of it. If they're still using flagstones to set off pressure plates, then you can test the stones, how they feel.
I think Pete would like to, while we're deciding in which direction to go, to sort of clear the alcoves that are around the chest, just to make sure there's not like an obvious spider or something in any of them.
So you're going in like this, and you're checking.
Yeah. To check those ones.
Okay. So you walk in, all of the flagstones under your feet feel fine. You're not worried about any of those, and then you go and you check this statue. Seems like they've mass-produced these statues, and that they're all kind of the same 4 postures over and over again, which is a little bit disappointing, right? You would have expected better. You check on this statue, and I mean, it doesn't seem like there's a spider. Usually they would a big spider probably wouldn't fit in this alcove.
Just for anything unexpected,
Mhm.
clear everything in that area.
It looks like all the other alcoves. Would the rest of you
Well,
like to do something?
If someone else is in that large tea room, Bill will
Uh-huh.
walk in and look around the room, and especially at the chest through the purple glass.
Through the purple glass. Looking at the chest through the purple glass. Yeah, actually, we'll say the purple glass filters out some of the wavelengths, and you're able to get a hint of something glowing inside the chest. The wood is kind of fracturing and splitting enough that there's little hints of, it's like wispy bits of light coming out, or maybe going in. It's kind of weird, actually. It looks like the light is being pulled in.
So it sounds like this chest is either going to be something really cool for once, or probably it's something real bad.
Minoram's gonna look back at the trap that almost hit Pete,
Mhm.
and he's gonna try to examine like what sort of level all the darts were at, and if it's possible he would have been able to crawl under it.
Yeah, you think, looking at it, there may be like half an inch off the floor, and you can squish your little mousy body down. You might want to take off your backpack first before trying it, but
Mm-hmm. All
yeah, I
right.
think you can sneak under it.
Minoram's getting like a wave of bravery going through him, and he's gonna start crawling his way through the room, leaving his bag at the door. So all he
Okay.
has on him right now is his sling in his main hand and his, I guess, his map in his offhand.
Okay. Yeah, you start picking your way, worming your way across the floor. You pass Bill as he's looking through his colored glass and kind of brush his leg a little bit as you pass. You make your way into the middle of the room and look as Peep is kind of peeking around the statue and uh, like checking it for traps and maybe pulling on it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Peep, for what it's worth, it does kind of shift a little bit. It's not bolted down or anything.
As I
Um,
as I go, I just like to keep my eyes on like the walls and ceiling for any mechanism as I might pass as I'm going.
Okay. You make your way past Peep slowly, kind of picking your way carefully, touching every flagstone as you pull yourself across. You check the same spot where there was a trap here. You check the walls in between the alcoves, and it seems smooth. There's no openings. Pick your way a little bit further. Would you like to keep going?
Yeah, I'm trying to get all the way to the chest here.
Okay. You pick your way in between, and then as you get up to this kind of location, you feel a pressure plate start to descend as you put your paw on it, and then you pick it back
So
up.
I'm
You try
gonna
to
back
try the
off.
one next to it, and it descends a little bit. It feels like this entire back portion of the room is wired.
All right. Any of those plates on the ground that I can reach over and press the plate that's just past them?
Yeah, there's the flagstones are small enough that like a mouse could feasibly put it in. These things were built by mice, so you feel
Mhm,
like maybe you take a stick and you poke a pressure plate that's a little bit beyond where you are.
mhm. Is that one also a pressure plate?
Yep.
All right, so it's all pressure plates from me to the chest.
Yeah.
And looking at the walls and ceiling, is there any obvious mechanisms that these might activate?
Walls and ceilings seem clean. There's the statue, there's an alcove. Maybe there's something hidden in the statues. You can't really see them with the shadows cast by your torch. The ceiling is perfectly smooth, except maybe the ceiling is kind of suspiciously smooth. I guess it looks like it's been
Hmm.
maybe stuccoed over or something.
Okay. Is there anything hanging down from the ceiling?
Nope, it's pretty smooth.
Okay.
There's little remnants of paint at the corners that have long since been worn away.
And the walls, potentially, is there any way I could like climb along the walls using the alcoves to
Uh,
avoid touching the floor to get to the back?
yeah, I think you looking at it, kind of gauging it, you're like, this is kind of tricky. So you know it would, in an abstract sense, require a deck save to get there.
Hmm. Hmm. That's a tough one. Maybe I could make the help our information game a little bit here. You said the chest is sort of like old, rickety, falling apart.
Yep.
I have my sling on me. I could potentially use my sling to attack the chest and just see if I can break it open, see what's inside.
Yeah, make an attack roll. We'll say it's trivial to hit it. Like.
Okay, so that's a d6 of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Is a 5.
5. You you swing your sling around. Make sure you mark a use for ammo, and then throw one of the stones into the chest. You punch a big old hole right through the weakness of the wood, and you're able to see something kind of shift in the middle, and then light starts kind of like misty veins of light start to pour into the hole of the chest, and you see that there's this like kind of brilliant white gemstone set in a gold housing in the middle of the chest. It seems like it's sat on some cushion that has long since worn away.
Mm-hmm. I look back over at Bill, like nodding, like you seeing this?
I'm standing over here. I can't see what's going on inside the chest.
Oh, okay. I figured because you were looking. I kind of figured your purple glass was like an important thing.
Fair.
It's a plenty big enough hole. Like he's punched a hole in the side of it.
Yeah.
Bill goes, "Is that the thing we're here for?"
You don't know.
How did?
None of you know.
But it looks fancy. We're here for a weapon, right?
Mhm.
Theoretically.
That's what was. Yeah.
So if we touch it, will it do something dangerous?
I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
How far from the edge of the safe flagstaff to the chest is it?
Maybe 2 inches, which for you is like 2 body lengths.
Mice
So
are
it'd be
not
like a running
half
jump.
inch long.
Are you only a half inch long?
No, you said 2 inches is 2 body lengths for us, but we're mice. Like they're a few inches long.
I think we're
tall.
treating the mice in this game a little bit smaller than real world mice, but
Yeah, I don't know. The rule book is 2 body lengths.
Little
but
gerbils.
it's about ratios.
Yeah.
It's not that we don't know. It's not that it is less than 2 body lengths. It's that we don't know what an inch is.
Oh, well, yeah.
Well, I have one more idea. Could I get advantage on my dexterity save if I coated my hands in honey to help me grip the wall better?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll say so.
Can I give him advantage if I yell at him the whole time so that he wants to perform better?
Also,
yeah.
I just want to say, I have a terrible dexterity stat, so I'm begging anybody else to take this for me, because I have a 6 in dexterity.
I have a 12 in dexterity.
Yeah, that's the best possible dexterity.
Oh, okay. Then Bill says, "Well, it would be like me to offer up my services." And he walks up and he's like, "Hit me."
Come on, Bill, I know you can do it. You're like at least twice as good at me at this stuff.
Does Bill need the honey, or is he just gonna go for it?
I'll still offer it. It's gonna give you advantage.
Okay. Hit me. He holds up his
All right, I start
paws.
rubbing some honey on your hands.
Oh, this feels terrible. This is tactily very uncomfortable.
No, I'm telling you, everyone should use honey. It's just honey's so good. There's nothing that could possibly go wrong using honey. That's a topical reference for all of you.
Honey's a scam. Bill licks some of the honey off of his fingers, or he licks a little bit that was dripping off and goes, "Actually, no, that does taste quite good."
It's very viscous.
Yeah, it does taste quite good. And then so what were you going to do again?
Climb along the wall using like the little alcoves to get to the chest without touching any of the panels on the floor.
Okay.
Because everything between us and the chest is a pressure plate.
Yes. Okay, Bill will try to find some handholds on the wall and see if he can hold himself up to start with. And then once he does that, he slowly and carefully, very methodically, makes his way over towards the chest.
Okay. Make a dex save with advantage.
Oh, I rolled a 13, which is bad, and then I rolled a 1.
Nice.
Heyo!
You are, man, you're
Are
really
funny.
good at this. You actually have like, this is what you do for fun. You play the floor is lava at home. So you pick your way very expertly across. It takes you barely any time at all. You really didn't really need the honey, actually, now that you think about it. Or at least that's what you tell yourself. And you kind of, there's like a last little jump, and you jump from the statue to the chest and kind of sway your arms, and then, the judges hold up a 10, and it was well done. The gemstone is sitting right there within arm's reach.
Bill licks the rest of the honey off of his hands, give himself an energy boost.
Okay.
And then he looks down at the gem, pulls out the glass, and he looks at it again. Just for...
Even like through the glass, like the reason you can see the light so much better when you put the glass up is because all the other light from like the torch is being filtered out by the purple glass. But the light that's like, I don't know, is it emitting or is it being sucked in by this gemstone? It's really hard to tell, actually. It's brilliant through the glass. Like it's almost blinding.
He puts the glass back away and is squinting now because it's so bright. And he uses like one finger from his off hand, his off paw, and he touches the gem.
The gem is bitingly cold on your paw.
He pulls his hand away and he sticks his finger in his mouth and he goes, "That does not feel very good. I don't want to do that."
Minoram is gonna
Don't you have your
pull
sling?
out his he's gonna pull out his dubious map, and he's gonna crumple it up and throw it over to Bill.
Bill catches it. It might get a little sticky now.
Wrap it up.
He folds the thing together.
Yeah, use it to pick up the stone, the gem.
Oh, that's a much better idea. And he he unwraps the treasure chest, treasure map, places it on the gem.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's still cold through the paper. You can feel it, but it's not like that direct contact.
Yeah.
Iciness.
He puts his hands underneath it and lifts the gem, and then winces.
Mm-hmm.
And then if nothing happens, he finishes wrapping it up. I guess does he have a backpack? Or are we saying that he has like a strap on his back or something?
You've got a backpack.
Okay. He tosses it in his backpack. Well, he places it in his backpack. And then he, knowing that you can see where all the honey that was left residually on the wall, he knows where all his handholds are.
Uh-huh.
And he climbs back.
Okay, make another dex save. We'll say with advantage still, because
I rolled a 6 on the first time. I don't even need advantage.
Well
Get out of
well
here.
Done. You're a natural at this. This is your gifting.
He's a sparrow rider, so it would make sense he has good grip strength.
Yeah, you pick your way across, and you imagine the crowd is, going wild for your acrobatics, and you make your way back to where you started.
He was like jumping back and forth.
Okay, you have made it one gemstone in tow, back to where you started.
Did anyone else hear that? It sounded like the GM says that there's multiple gemstones we have to get.
Did I say that?
You just said you have
Just
one in
gemstone.
tow, as if it's...
Well, we've only got a little bit of honey left. I mean, it's been very useful so far, but we can only be in here so long.
Are you hungry? I have rations.
No, I have rations, but, we're running out of supplies here.
If the next one's a similar situation, I can probably just climb it without honey.
I don't know. Those holds didn't look very strong. It looked like honey was doing most of the work.
Okay. I guess you're right.
He said conversely.
Like it would have been close, but I think you would have barely slipped there
I was watching, and you would have died.
by like 5%. It seems like you would have slipped.
I guess we'll have to push our luck next time.
Yeah.
Well,
Where,
next time.
where would you guys like to go?
I guess it's in terms of the information game, it would be good to figure out who the voices are, to at least get eyes on them.
Peep goes, "Hey!"
Well, we don't know where they came from, so I guess it seems like it's just a 50-50 shot. Do we want to go red or left?
I mean, first of all, Minoram's going to put his backpack back on.
Gotta make sure you say that. Brennan will absolutely call you on that later. Let's go left.
Anyone have any strong feelings? That's a strong feeling.
Left seems strong.
Okay, so you're saying this way.
Left is so much more whimsical than right.
Yeah.
True.
It is.
Odd Todd. Okay. Yeah, you guys make your way over here. Again, being careful for pressure plates. I think we can assume that.
Yeah.
You make your way up to this door, and you see that it's kind of rotted off its hinges. You'll probably have to break it down if you want to make it through.
That's my favorite kind
Not
of door.
this again.
People give it a shove. Applying force in greater and greater quantities is needed.
Yeah, I mean, the first shove isn't quite enough, but it flexes under your hands. It's rotten wood. It's falling apart. So you give it a good strong push, and you push your hand right through the boards, and it's just a matter of kind of picking them apart. It takes you a little bit, though.
Another gateway conquered. That's 2 for 2.
As you're working, you can see through the door. You've entered a larger chamber, and the walls, instead of being stone, are actually all like crystal ice, which it's really like it's well formed old ice, which is surprising because it hasn't been snowing that long. And you've entered into this like kind of glistening cavern with stalactites and stalagmites, and halfway through there's just a solid wall of ice, of like ice stalagmites and stalactites meeting. Through the kind of semi-transparent ice, you can see that there's more beyond that, but you can't see an opening in the ice.
It's an odd room.
Well, I guess I better get started again. And he starts waving his torch over the ice.
I mean, it's melting, but it'll take you a long time to melt your way through this.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
Maybe
nothing
we
in
should
this
just-
apart from just an ice wall.
Mm-hmm.
No alcoves or statues or anything.
No, you can see daylight through there, though, on the other side of the wall.
Do we want to go outside again? It was real cold out there.
Oh, I wouldn't say so.
Let's
I
go back
imagine
to the. Let's go back to the right. I don't think there's much to do here.
I agree. Door number 3. People
Okay.
charges it.
Okay. Yeah, you guys get your way to the other door. This one is still on its hinges. It's a little rusty and it kind of squeaks, but you're able to open it.
It's okay. We kind of squeaked too.
Peep is a little bit disappointed that he didn't break this one.
Yeah. I mean, you can if you want.
I'll be responsible.
No one is stopping you.
You open the door. So you got, hang on. You got the room that's kind of like crystal caverny, and then it sort of ends at a sheet wall. There's maybe something on the other side. You don't know. And then in this one, it seems to be more of the original cairn. You've got a kind of square-shaped room. There's a table in the middle. It actually looks like this place has been ransacked a little bit. And you can also see daylight in this room, although a lot dimmer, not like direct light. It's like reflected light. There's a crack in the corner that seems to be open to the outside. There's wind blowing snow into here. In the center of the room, there's a collapsed table that's sort of scattered about like this. And then in each of the corners, there's a suit of armor standing. And like kind of silently watching the middle of the room. In the middle of the table, there's a dead rat.
I loot his body.
Actually dead.
Actually dead. Seems like he's been dead for a while. He's not like rotting away. He's definitely still a rat, but his body's very cold.
I loot the body.
Okay. You loot the body and you find, I'll say, 6 pips and a short sword.
All right, 2 pips apiece.
Great.
I like the idea that we
I
walk into
have a
this
sword,
room.
so
I will happily take that sword because I'm running through my sling quick.
On the walls, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention. On the walls, there's a bunch of ancient weapons hanging in racks as well.
Are they usable?
They're mostly kind of rusted away, but maybe, I mean, maybe if you looked closer at them, you could find one that's in good fighting shape. It does seem like they were well taken care of. They're just ancient. Haven't been touched in centuries.
Bill says, does anyone think that the suits of armor might be a trap that got that rat?
Yeah,
So
they're really
there's a
going at it over
volcano
there.
too.
a volcano?
It's a
What?
volcano!
Marvel Rivals?
I don't know. They might be playing Helldivers. Let me check.
Are there volcanoes in Helldivers?
A lot of stuff.
No, they're not. They're not playing either of those.
What games have volcanoes?
Oh wait, no, they're playing
Or whatever.
Helldivers. Yeah, they're playing Helldivers.
That makes sense.
Top 10 video game volcanoes. Lactose intolerant
Helldivers
volcano.
is
Where's
Helldivers
the
is
one
extremely
from,
fun right now. I'm having a great time with Helldivers. Just
Really?
side note, it is.
Yeah.
It's in a really good
You
place
can
right
play that a
now.
lot.
I'd pick it back up.
Tommy, is the volcano from Wii Sports Resort on that list?
I didn't
should
see it. I didn't think it was. I closed the...
Okay, so we're talking about armor stands. We're afraid that they're a trap. I'm gonna go up and I'm going to examine whichever armor stand is closest to running out of the exit,
Well,
so that I do not get surrounded.
They're each in corners, so you can pick one of these two.
All right, yeah, I'll pick the one closest to the exit door.
I mean, you take a look at it, and it looks like it's just a suit of armor. Thinking about it, I mean, you've heard stories about maybe ghosts and cairns, so it's possible that there's some supernatural element to this, but just looking at it, it's just armor.
Well,
And-
if you'll indulge me for a moment, you can tell he's like, he always takes things very, he prepares for any possible worst case scenario. So he's going to go around each one of the armor stands. He's going to take off the helmet. He's going to carry it over to the previous room, and he's going to set them in the middle of the floor.
As soon as you take the helmet off the first one, there's a loud shrieking sound, and the
Quickly puts the helmet back on.
the helmet lights up with ghostly energy. You get the hint of a mouse warrior in the middle, and all 4 suits of armors are now inhabited by ancient mouse ghosts. They seem to be completely driven mad by the years, and they're gonna attack. Let me
Well,
remember how.
Shucks.
I appreciate that, like you did try and solve the problem. It's just
Yeah.
that was not the correct solution.
Aw.
Yeah. All right. Let me remember how combat works in this game. Oh god.
At least I'm near the exit door.
Yeah. So we'll say the other 2 are kind of like standing in the doorway, and you're standing in one of the 2 corners. Crap. Where's? Okay. Combat. Okay, if you attack unsuspecting foes, your mouse and any allies go first. We'll say that they are, in fact, unsuspecting. You've awoken them from their slumber.
They certainly did not expect that someone would just walk in here and pull their helmet off.
Remove their head.
Yeah, the one that
Well, do I still have his helmet in my hands, or is it attached to the body?
you're pulling up, but there's some sort of mystical force pulling it back to the body.
Okay.
You'd have to really put some, muscle into pulling it off.
Well, while it's in the process of waking up, can I take the sword out of its hand?
Yeah, I would say so.
All right. Then I'm
It's-
going to grab the sword out of its hand.
It's clenched in the hand, but you're able to kind of like wrench the fingers off and pull the sword out. We'll say that that's your turn. Peep and Bill, what are you doing?
Bill says, maybe this has something to do with the other room as well. You want to take him into the icy place and they'll fall over or something?
Is that all
Tactical
you're doing
retreat?
on your
That's
turn?
Bill's backing up and he's just like trying to come up with a potential plan to explain the fact that he doesn't want to be in this room right now.
Okay, so you're backing out of the room.
Yes.
Okay, so you back out of the room. Peep, what are you doing?
Eep is going to stand in the doorway. So I have a sword and a spear, and I think the spear is theoretically just like a melee weapon. Would you let me throw it at one of them?
Yeah. There's
Okay.
there's
So,
rules for improvised weapons too. We'll call it
Oh.
like a D6 damage.
So I'll stand in the doorway. I'll throw my spear at whichever one is close to the door that Miner did not already disarm.
So I'm in
He
the
got the
corner.
bottom one.
I'm in the corner between the two doors.
Okay, so Miner is here. Oh, that's
Yep.
Okay.
that's not Ben. Ah. Miner's here.
So I'll throw mine at the
Say
bottom left.
You're attacking the bottom left. Okay.
Yeah,
Roll
I know.
damage. I'll give you advantage because it's not moving yet. It's like waking up.
So 2d6 to take the higher. That's 3.
Okay. 3 damage to the bottom one. Okay.
And I will just stand at the doorway with my sword to protect Bill.
Okay. Man, I need more windows.
More monitors.
Okay. So we got 3 damage to 1. Okay. Yeah, that's your guys' turn. The sort of incorporeal ghosts finally seem to possess the statues completely, the armor completely. The one standing in front of you, Miner, you've wrenched the sword out of its grasp while it's not looking, and you're focused on the one hand, and you see the other hand swing up and clock you in the jaw. It's gonna do a D4 damage.
Oh boy.
And
2
Minor
damage.
Aim's out.
Literally the minimum size dice that you can possibly roll. Oh boy, I'm gonna die here.
Nice and squishy.
So, Miner, you take 2 damage in the face. The suits of armor are fairly slow, but the ghosts are kind of wailing and shrieking inside of them. The one suit of armor to the south that Peep threw a spear at is gonna kind of like lurch back and then take the spear out and then start advancing on Peep with the spear and then make a spear attack at Peep as it gets close.
I gave it a big weapon.
What is that? A large weapon?
It's a D10. It's a heavy
D10.
weapon.
Oh dear.
Why would you do this?
I need to find a D10. I wasn't prepared for this.
You're also allowed to
Okay.
just say that he rolled
Nope,
a
that's not
10.
a D10. I mean, I could. I'm not that mean though. He rolled a 3. You're lucky. He's
Okay.
not.
So
The
that-
ghost is not used to.
That does hit my strength. That is 1
Yeah.
point into my strength score. So I need to
Okay.
roll.
Strength save.
Nope. 16 out of 8.
Okay. Man, your luck has run out, Peep. Maybe the boldness only carried you so far as you take a spear in right in the gut and kind of collapse down, coughing up a little bit of blood. And you are rendered unconscious.
Imagining this as mice, that makes that so much sadder and like
No.
that's so much worse than anything
I'm
else
so
we've done.
sorry. I think I was talking to Tommy before this, and I was like, "This lets me kind of like find where the challenge is fun by making it harder."
Yeah.
Well, yeah, these ghosts are no joke. The other two ghosts are going to move closer. It's your guys' turn.
Bill,
Okay.
I need an injured condition.
yeah,
You do need an
seeing
injured
the
condition.
injury to Peep, Bill gets angry now. He hasn't been angry yet. He goes, "Why I oughta," and he pulls out his sling and he whips a stone at the one that used the spear.
Okay. You make an attack roll.
I think attacks always hit. I just have to roll for damage, right?
That's correct. Yeah. You make a damage roll. That's what I meant.
3.
3 damage. It clanks off the armor harmlessly.
Well, that's not good. That's my only weapon.
Yeah. Yeah. These ghosts are
There
no joke.
are a bunch of untripped traps. Just
Yeah.
throw that out in the universe.
Because Miner is considering the stories of his family's pasts, thinking about how a lot of dungeons like these typically were more than just their entrance room, and how potentially there would be more buried deep beneath the earth, and how if he tripped a pressure plate, perhaps there would be a route opened below, whether for or against his will. So he turns around, seeing Peep's body unconscious on the floor, and grabs it and starts dragging it back over to the other room.
Okay. So we'll go ahead.
Because it's kind of a Hail Mary at this point. He knows if he leaves the building, he's not going to be able to outrun these armors.
Sure.
Although, if they are cursed, they might be cursed to the location.
So you're about to find out because you grab Peep's body and you kind of pull him out. He's coughing. He's very unhappy. Being dragged doesn't feel particularly good, Peep, but it is better than
He's
being
mainly unhappy that you're dragging him away from the bad guys.
And you kind of pull him back beyond where Bill is standing guard. Bill, do you want to stay where you were standing, or do you want to move back? Or
Bill will
forward or
move
whatever?
with the others. He's
Okay.
like, he does not want to put himself in danger necessarily. That's why he has a ranged weapon. He's just gonna fight.
Okay. Well, you were able to see how far these armors can move, like how quickly these pieces of armor move. So you know you're kind of like just within reach of this armor. So you might want to move back a little.
Yes. Bill moves back.
Okay.
To
So we'll
stay out of the way.
So you get.
Can we
you
make
kinda
Bill
like,
blue or purple or something, so he's more
Blue.
visible?
yes, like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll let the suits of armor move in on their turn. They're not going to be able to get within range, and they don't have ranged weapons. But there's a horrifying kind of anger pent up in these suits of armor. They're shrieking at you as they move closer and closer in methodical steps. What would you guys like to do on your next turn?
Miner sort of wants to test his thought. So he is going to run back over to where he knows the pressure plates are, and he's going to grab onto the wall, like anywhere where he can get a hold without touching the floor, and he's going to like take his foot paw down to the floor to press the pressure plate, expecting the floor to give way.
Okay. We'll say you can only do that if you stop dragging Peep.
Yeah, I'm not dragging Peep anymore. I wasn't going to drag him over there. He's just sort of testing his theory to see if they can make a quick getaway here.
I'm gonna make Miner green from now on. So you make your way all the way back here, and you start like kind of testing the flagstones at this end. And sure enough, as you push, I mean, how hard are you pushing?
Oh, he's trying to activate one, but in a way where he is not supported by the floor in case it gives way.
Okay. Yeah, sure enough, you like kind of take, I don't know what you have in your inventory. You take some kind of stick.
Sure, I have two swords that I picked up from the previous room.
You take a sword and you kind of push down on the nearest flagstone, and your instinct was completely right as the first flagstone falls away, and then the rest of the floor starts caving slowly, one flagstone at a time down, revealing a cavernous pit below. Looking down.
I think we got a way out, guys. Come on.
What would the rest of you like to do on your turn?
That doesn't sound like a very good idea.
I'm unconscious. I have no agency.
That's such a wise thing for you to say, says Bill.
Come on, Bill, bring it. Let's go down. We're not gonna be able to run these things.
Oh, bother, says Bill as he pulls Peep's body along with him towards the edge of the flagstones.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to get halfway there with Peep being dragged. Around to here. And sure enough, the armor is hot on your tails, but it's not moving very quickly. You're moving at about the same pace as them.
It's lukewarm on our tails.
It's lukewarm on your tails. Neither here nor there. We'll just kind of treat them as a big blob now, because they've all clumped up.
That's a rookie mistake.
Yeah, they're like all around there. They're following you slowly, marching in kind of rigid order, advancing down the hallway. And there's actually like something remarkably tactical about the way they kind of fill out the entire hallway and advance slowly on you with the weapons drawn. What would you like to do on your next turn?
Okay, side thought. This location we're currently at, how far of traveling is it from the nearest other location we can stay for the night?
It's far. It's you camped in the
We're like
woods.
in the middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere. Nobody
Okay.
comes up here.
My last thought was to take my tent tarp and just sort of like throw it over them so they get stuck up for a little bit, but like that's probably not the best idea.
I mean, you know.
Bill has an idea.
Go for it, Bill.
That could be something like that. He takes one of the stones from his pouch that typically he would use in his sling, and he like tries to strategically roll it so that one of the armors will step on it and trip, and they'll do a big they'll all fall together.
I don't even know how do I rule that? I mean, that's pretty clever. Well, sorry. So it's a stone from your pouch, and you're just kind of putting it in the way.
Kind of. He's trying to throw it underneath one of their feet as they're like taking a step, so that they step on it and fall over, and then he doesn't know what will happen next, but he just hopes that that'll work somehow.
Okay. Yeah, we'll say. I mean, you can roll the stone in front of one of them, and then like start retreating down the hallway. And sure enough, as the one, we'll say it's like the 1 second from the right, steps on it, it kind of slips and falls, and all the armor clatters to the floor and kind of scatters about before being slowly fused back up into one, cohesive form, standing and then advancing on you. That slows one of them down.
Now it is a huge three-bodied, three-headed.
Then a gauntlet flies at you, and no.
Knowing that I'm currently not dragging anybody, is there an instant in this situation where I'd be able to quickly step forward, grab its sword off the ground, and then step back without being in danger? Or will I take a hit by doing that?
Yeah, we can say you can do that.
Cool. I have a third sword.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that takes up your entire turn doing that because you have to run back and then run forward. But yeah. So there's this like big pit in front of you guys, and then you're retreating slowly. We can say that another turn of that happens. You guys kind of retreating and getting away from the monsters, but they're cornering you slowly. It's either the pit or the spears, I guess.
So can we see?
Like I said, if we go out the front door and leave this area, they're just gonna outrun us, unless they're like.
Are they not? They're slower than we are.
They are slower than you. The only reason they're keeping pace is because you're dragging Peep behind you.
Yeah, and that's the reason we won't be able to outpace them. Like we can't run away with somebody unconscious. So I say pit, because they're not going to be able to easily follow us down the pit.
But what if there are hundreds of them down there?
What is down in the pit?
Down in the pit. It's
the way you described it seemed like endless chasm.
No, not endless chasm.
We jumped down the pit.
See the bottom.
I love the idea that we jump down the pit and Brandon goes, well, okay, I'll see y'all next week.
And end of session. No, you look down. It's not endless at all. It's maybe a foot drop, and then there's a dirt bottom to it. There's the first thing you notice is the large undulating shape of a snake. And it only takes you a second to realize that it's not a snake, it's a snake skeleton. It's been dead for many years.
But it's
The other thing
moving.
you notice is that there's a doorway on the right side of the pit.
Okay, yeah, way
It's
out.
not moving. It's perfectly still.
It's shaped like a snake.
It's not moving yet.
I didn't say anything. You're inferring.
Bill turns to Miner and says, "If we're going down there and that thing has a helmet on, please don't take the helmet off."
You hear another crunch as another suit of armor takes a step towards you.
Minor Am's jumping down.
Okay. It's a totally survivable fall. It's just a dirt bottom. You kind of clatter to the bottom with your pots and pans.
What do I do
Can
about the
I-
body that I also need to throw down this pit?
Throw him down. I mean,
Yeah, I don't see another option really. Okay. Bill
Oh man.
Bill like sets himself so that he's holding on to the edge of the pit and then tries to lower Peep as far as he can before having to actually just drop him.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's totally doable. It's it doesn't feel good. Peeps got a lot of weight on him, not just body wise, but equipment wise.
Minor Am is like not fully going to cushion the fall, but he's like mainly focusing on cushioning the head.
Okay, yeah, it's doable. I'm not gonna make you roll for it. You kind of drop him down. He kind of clatters down again. Doesn't feel good, especially for Peep. Sorry, Peep. As you cough up another little bit of blood, and then Bill is able to let himself down afterwards. You hear the crunch of another boot hitting the floor, and you look up and you see the ghosts kind of like looking over the rim of this pit at you, but not following.
Success.
So who wants a sword?
I'll take a sword.
I hand him a sword.
Nice. A sword. Let me find sword. Better believe I'm adding that to my offhand.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, whoops.
You got multiple items in your offhand.
I do. I saw that. Those are switched.
Right. Now, can I resist the urge to take the fang out of the snake's mouth?
Bill
answer is
grabs
no.
Miner.
The Miner starts walking towards the snake.
Okay, the snake.
Pick me up first.
The snake is not. It's no mere like you've seen garden snakes before. This is a serious snake. It clearly was a giant among snakes in its day, but in death it started to rot away, and this kind of amazing snake fang feels like maybe you could pry it loose.
Minor Am's reaching for the snake fang. He's gonna get it.
Peep has no
Bill
way to stop you.
takes his sling and he tries to hit this fang before
Is that better?
potentially it'd destroy it at the worst case.
Okay. I mean, make an attack roll. Make a damage roll if you're attacking
3.
the snake.
I only deal in 3s.
You only deal in 3s. Okay. Yeah. You kind of wind up a sling pretty quickly, and Minor, to your surprise, a bit of stone hits the bone right in front of you, kind of like the top of the fang. You see the fang kind of shake suddenly, as if like the stone has kind of loosened it a little bit. and then it seems like maybe the whole skeleton is shaking.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Minoram's gonna quickly yank the fang and run away.
The fang, sure enough, the fang is easy to kind of pull out. But as you're doing that, you feel the jaws closing slowly as the spark of life comes into these long dead eyes.
Minoram starts running back towards the group. Go, 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 go! And he grabs one half of Peep as he starts dragging him towards the door.
Okay, you pull your way to you pull everyone to the door, and you find this this wooden door that it hasn't been exposed to the elements as much as the rest of them. It's solidly built. There's a lock on the door, and as you grab the lock, you realize the lock is completely frozen.
Whoopsie.
You know, I wasn't an Eeyore-like character until I had
The
to hang
music-
out with these two.
Pete, we can say
The
that you're
timing
like,
on that music cutting off was awesome.
Oh, is there music? I was not paying attention.
oh, it's here, it's in the general Grugnug.
Yeah, it's pinned,
Channel.
right?
Yeah.
No, it's just the most recent one.
Oh, most recent. Ah,
But
yes.
it cut off right after you said, frozen shut.
um yeah, the lock is completely frozen shut down here.
It's brittle.
Yeah, Bill swings at it with the sword that he was recently given.
Okay. Yeah, the sword hits it with a mighty clang. Roll damage.
3. I only deal in 3s.
You hit it with a mighty clang, and you see a big chunk of it kind of go off. It seems like whatever voice of Peep that you heard in your head is correct. It is pretty brittle. It's also very noisy, and you'll hear some more noises and shuffling behind you. Minor, kind of glancing behind yourself, you're able to see the snake is starting to uncoil itself.
Yep, confirmed.
The one fanged snake is uncoiling itself.
How like does it seem like the lock is starting to give it all? Was that at all helpful?
Yes, it did seem like it kind of broke it, and it like sort of deformed a little bit, right? A few good whacks probably would get it. You don't know if you'll have that much time though.
All right.
He has 2 swords.
Minoram gives a sigh. He's like, I really didn't want to do this today, and he runs up, and he's gonna try to mount the snake so that he can sort of like wrap the sling around its mouth.
Okay, make a dex save.
This is gonna go horribly.
Is there anything I can do to like pour water on Peep so that he can participate?
Yeah, I mean, Peep, we'll say you're conscious, just for the purposes of fun.
That's a 2, so
up.
he did succeed.
You succeed?
I succeed. I got a 2.
You kind of like, I mean, this thing is like sluggish. It's been asleep for a long time, and it's piercing like white. The white light in its eyes kind of fixes on you, and it makes a lunge at you, and you're able to dodge out of the side and then take hold of one of the rib cage, like one of the ribs as it yanks you up. You're kind of dangling from it, and you said you take your sling and you put it inside.
I'm trying to sort of like wrap my sling. I guess like either to the roof of it. Yeah, it would be to the roof of its mouth. So it would be the sling inside the mouth, held against the roof, so that I have like a grip against its head.
Okay, well, we'll pause there while you're trying to get your sling in there.
Yeah.
You're kind of being thrown around as the snake moves its head around.
Yeah.
Pete, what would you like to do as you kind of come to?
What happened?
There's a
So the
spear
last thing I
sticking out of your
remember-
chest. There's a spear sticking
Last
out of your
thing
chest.
Last thing I remember was a gigantic suit of armor throwing a spear at me. And then I wake up and there's Minor riding a gigantic skeleton snake. So
Minor's
naturally,
usually so careful, so timid, but he's got that tunneler blood in him. He can't help himself.
I've never been more proud of Minor. I stagger to my feet, I yank the spear out of my chest, and I charge at the snake. And while he's like wrangling it, I want to try and stab it in the roof of the mouth,
Okay,
hoping that I can get the like vulnerable bonus.
Yep, make an attack.
All right, so that's D12 since it is vulnerable, right?
Yeah, we'll call it vulnerable. I like that.
7.
7. Okay. Let me check my stat block. Uh, 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 uh. Did I not? Oh, hang on. It hasn't like actually made an attack yet, so I haven't had to check the stat block yet. Hang on.
Hmm.
Sorry to kill the momentum. Do 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 do. Where is it? I'm going crazy. I'm sorry. There it is. Okay. I mean, you get a good like chunk out of the roof of its mouth with your spear. Little bits of bone go flying. Bill, what are you doing?
Bill is still.
I don't. After I attack, can I continue moving to not be directly in front of his face?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
I just come around to the behind.
Yeah.
Bill glances up to see what the other shadows are, to see if there's any like imminent danger, and then he will, if there is not, he will try to open the lock again.
Okay, make an attack roll.
That's a 6, which is 2 times
That's
3.
2 threes. Critical 3. Yeah, you kind of heave down with a mighty swing and smash the lock. The sort of like lock part falls off as you separate it from the sort of ring part. You quickly are able to pull the ring out of the latch and then swing the door open.
And that's why you don't buy a master lock. There goes that sponsor. And then he opens the door.
Okay. Beyond the door, you see a staircase climbing up.
I hope it just
There's
takes us
skeleton
back
cat in
up
this
to
room.
the main area.
Let's see. Major did his thing. Okay, it's the snake's turn.
Minor.
Minor did his thing. Sorry. The snake
Minor
is going
Inspired by
to.
his big cousin.
The snake is going to attempt to smash its head against the wall with you in between it, Minor. Make a deck save.
Oh boy. Why'd it have to be Dex?
Why'd you try and wrangle it?
Yeah, that's bad. That's a 19.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's you're so focused on hanging on, you don't realize how close the snake's head is to the wall, and you take the full brunt of it. So the snake is going to take some damage as well. You're
Mhm.
going to take twice as much damage as the snake, though.
Yeah, I'm going down here.
So there's a D4 and a D8. The snake actually did roll exactly double damage. The snake takes 3 damage. You take 6 damage.
All right, yeah, I'm down.
So
Well,
there's a big
so you-
crash, and you see the snake bash its head against the stone of the wall, and its entire skull shatters into smithereens, and there's kind of like dust and smoke, and you cough a little bit, peep, and then you look around, and there's no sign of Minor. There's just a rubble of bones.
He would have made a great sparrow rider.
Minor. I'm gonna immediately. I'll throw my weapons aside and start digging through the bones.
What's the rule for
Technically-
going to 0 health here?
You have to make a strength
So you-
save.
So
Okay.
when you go to no HP, whatever rolls over goes to strength. So you have 3.
Got it. Yeah, I'm
negative,
3
so you
under.
get strength. Yeah,
so
you
my
have to
strength
make
goes down
strength
to
save.
6.
You have to make a strength save and beat 6, otherwise you go unconscious and take an injury.
Well, 18 is not less than 6,
Not to you.
so I take an injury,
You take an
which
injury.
means that my inventory is currently too full. So I am going to drop my 1 excess sword, going down to 1 sword.
No! Not the second sword.
I will pick up your sword.
Oh, it's okay. I still have another sword. I'm not swordless.
I
You
have-
think I'm
I
crazy?
have space for swords.
So, Peep, you're digging your way through the bone shards, and the first thing you find is a sword. And the second thing you find is a paw that was reaching out to grab the sword. Um,
A
but
mangled paw.
the paw has
Oh,
gone
yank it.
limp. You, in your sort of battered state, are able to, like, very, you know, like, despite your battered
Very
state, you're able to
tenuously.
pull him out of the pile of bones. He's completely unconscious, and you're able to kind of take shelter within the little alcove that Bill has finally opened the lock.
I will drag him to the new room and get a little bit further away from all these enemies, and then smile at Bill with a big thumbs up.
Your smile is just like full of blood. You're missing a tooth.
Yeah, there's blood dripping out of my face. A great fight.
Bill like tries to smile and is also like shaking his head.
So, the staircase that you've revealed kind of winds its way up. You can't see the end of it as it kind of curves off to the right a little bit, but it does seem to be the only way back up without going through a bunch of angry suits of armor.
Well, I propose that first we take a little bit of a breather break,
Hmm.
tend to minor,
Appreciate
and
that.
drink a little bit of water, get some health
Okay.
back.
We'll do a short rest.
Yeah.
Boom. Let me figure out how short rests work again. All right. Takes one turn. Restore a d6 plus 1 HP.
6 plus
I haven't
that
been hit
is
yet.
6. So I resolve all of my HP. Nice.
Yeah. But you're still injured and you still have strength loss, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. How does that get cleared? After a
Long
full
rest?
rest, I see.
Yeah.
Full rest.
Yeah.
It's not
And
going to
then
get cleared
long
because we're
rest or
not going
full
to
rest.
last that long.
Yeah. And then if it did last that long, how would I get the strength back? Is that also full rest? Or it's like you get 1 per full rest back?
There's a difference. So there's long rests, which is like one night out in the wilderness. You can
Mhm.
restore a little bit to one attribute. A full rest, which is a week and an inn, is everything.
Okay. Gotcha.
All your stats are maxed out. All your conditions are gone.
It says a long rest
That's
takes
the good
one
one.
watch, a meal, and some sleep will restore all HP. If HP was already full, restore D6 to an attribute.
Here's what I like about this system. Like, time actually matters too. Like, I've got a little tracker where there's factions doing things, and as you guys are doing things, the factions are also doing things. So if you take a long rest or a full rest, like, things are gonna happen off screen. Which is,
Yeah.
anyways, I like that. Not that it matters for tonight, but
You
yeah,
go to the
guys are able to
stairs and the
figure it out.
armor is there.
The stairway up is lined with suits of armor the whole way up.
Bill's gonna take one of their helmets.
Nothing happens. The helmet just kind of crumbles in your hands.
Oh man. All right, so we're all feeling a little better.
Yes.
A little.
Onward to the next fight.
I think Bill will sneak up the stairs, looking through his purple glass as he does so.
Okay. You don't see anything in particular through the purple glass. Actually, it makes it kind of hard to walk up the stairs. You kind of slip and fall a couple times. But no harm done. And as you make your way up the stairs, you finally make it to the top of the stairs, and you find yourself at the foot of a large stone wall. And you can only see part of it, but it appears that you've found your way to the main kind of ceremonial center of this cairn, this tomb, whatever it is. The wall sort of goes up like this, and it's sort of like a pentagon shaped thing like this, right? And so it's large stones, kind of like like the pyramids, right? And you can maybe see some handholds up the stone, but there's no staircase up to the top of it. You found yourself in a large cavern. You can see up above, the whole thing has kind of been frozen over. And from up above, at the top of this monument, whatever it is, you can hear hushed voices.
Let's be them. Is this made of? It's stone. It's not ice.
It is stone, but it is completely covered in slick ice.
Hmm.
You think you probably could climb up it, but it would be tricky.
Can Bill use his fish hook like an ice axe or an ice pick to try to make his way up with and like, ping, hook onto the stone
Um,
slash ice?
a little bit, but it's not really designed for that purpose. So it's a little unwieldy, and it's not really meant to like hold your weight that way. Or maybe you could carve some handholds.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Uh, hey, Miner, do you got any more of that honey?
Just a little bit left. This will be the last of it if we use it here.
It's up to you. I can try it either way.
No. Let's do it. Let's do it.
No, I
I
don't
didn't I
want to
didn't
be
bring
a
it for
bother.
nothing. No, I wasn't gonna eat it anyway. It got a little ice in it.
This argument goes on for a while. uh, okay. So Bill will smother, both slather
Slather.
and smash the honey into his hands and onto the handle of the fish hook so that he can hold it better, and then he will try to scale the wall.
Okay. Make a dexterity save.
That's a 7.
Nice. Well done. Yeah, you're picking your way up, and as you're climbing, the voices are getting louder and louder. You're hearing them kind of echo across this kind of crystally room, this large room you found yourself in. And you finally get yourself up to the top of this like foot tall monument wall. And there's kind of a railing at the top that you're able to grab and hoist yourself up. And looking over the top of it, the first thing you notice is that there's firelight. Seems like someone has set up camp here. Uh, Cast in silhouette by the fire, you see the moving shapes of rats that are exceptionally skinny. They seem to be cooking dinner.
Hmm. Am I on a ledge or something, or am I still just...
You're like kind of holding on. You've hoisted yourself up. You're looking between the railing, like the kind of balusters of the railing, and but you're still kind of hanging off the edge.
Okay. Is there... I can't shout down because they'll hear me, obviously. Uh, is there something I can do to give my friends an advantage on getting up there with me?
Man, that sounds like your prerogative, not mine.
Uh, let's see. I don't have...
There's kind of a stone railing at the top. You've got these slick stones all the way down either side. There's not much within arm's reach of you. It is dark where you are, though. You're
Yeah.
not carrying a
Playing is
torch.
vaguely rope-like.
Yeah, would the sling be long enough?
Mm-mm.
That's what I thought. Bill, I keep wanting to call him Pip because I keep seeing the word Pip. Bill takes one of the stones that he has on his side pouch, and he throws it to the opposite corner from where he's on the wall to try to get the rats to pay attention to that corner.
So you're throwing a rock? You said?
Yes.
Yeah. You take a rock and you throw it. It actually goes beyond the far corner and kind of clatters down the side to somewhere unseen. It makes a lot of echoing, and sure enough, the rats kind of like perk up and go and investigate. They seem really skittish, like incredibly on edge.
Hmm. How many of them are there?
It was hard to tell at first, but maybe your best guess is. Let me write it down because I totally wrote it down. Wah, 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 wah. Oh my god, I just said a group of rats. What's wrong with me? Never mind, I gave myself a number. There are 4 rats.
Okay. Is there a door anywhere, or are they just fully locked in here?
So, as you kind of take in your surroundings a little bit more, you see that there's a small structure built on top of this with a tower in the center and then 2 kind of flanking wings off to the side that are closed with gates. So
Okay.
these are gates, metal gates.
And that's at the bottom, or is that on my level?
That is, so this is like a structure on top of this kind of
Okay.
obelisk thing that you're standing on.
Am I able to make it over to that structure?
Yeah, you probably have time to sneak around the kind of the perimeter where it's dark.
Bill gives the other two a attempt at a thumbs up, as a like, I'm alive. I'm acknowledging that I'm leaving you behind, basically.
Okay,
But
later, guys.
It's okay because I am not just doing it and ignoring y'all.
Okay, so Bill kind of skirts around. The gate is like completely shut. It's not like the doors you've seen up to this point that like wiggle a little bit. This is like firmly in place. You see kind of like looking around the perimeter of it, there's some sort of like metal mechanism that looks uncannily new. Like it looks like it's just been installed.
Hmm.
You're only able to take in a quick glance before the rats start to kind of make their way back over to the fire. You would be risking being spotted staying here anymore, even though you're in kind of dim light.
Okay. Is there a place where I could put something that's like gem-like, and it might trigger
Uh,
something?
Not right here. There's not. But you're only seeing like kind of this corner of it.
Yeah. So at the bottom where the rats are, they have a fire. Or they're cooking something.
Cooking something that looks like meat, maybe.
Okay. Out of sidebar, Ben, do I do the thing I did with Silas? Where I shot an arrow into the fire to distract everybody?
Well, if you do, you're the only one who can take advantage of your own distraction.
This is fair, which is
We're a little
why
outnumbered.
I was considering not doing that. How dangerous would it be for me to go back down? Like, would I be able to come back up?
I mean, your hands are still sticky.
Okay. I think Bill will try to make his way to a point where he can communicate with the others without being overheard.
Okay.
I don't know if that's all the way back to the bottom, but
I think if you want to whisper to them, it would be all the way back to the bottom. If you want to like do a normal talking voice, which would maybe be overheard, then you could just kind of look over the edge.
Well, can Minor and I try and see if we can get up to the top? I know that we don't have quite the same
Not a bad
advantage,
idea.
but we might be able to. If he's left honey behind on his handholds, if I give Minor a boost, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think I'll give
Or
you guys
yeah.
the benefit of that honey if he's left it on the handhold. So you can just roll with normal straight dex save.
That's normal or with advantage?
So it would be disadvantage because it's slick. So now it's
Gotcha.
advantage because you're unslicking it.
Okay.
Nope.
For me, that is a 6, which ties my dexterity.
You make it up,
Oh,
puffing and puffing,
Nice.
but you make it up.
I got a 16, so I do not make it. But we have two left.
You slip and fall back to the bottom, but you're unhurt because the ground is kind of snowy and soft.
Only my pride is wounded,
Only your pride.
but I have plenty of it to go around, so it's fine.
Although it is most of you, your pride.
Should I just try again? Third time's the charm.
How many times do you get to try before it?
I mean, yeah.
It just takes
are
time.
there... I'll just give it another shot. There we go. 3. That'll do it.
Good.
I just needed to not be helping Minor.
Let me roll a random encounter. You're good. Yeah, you pick your way up to the top carefully and quietly, and you're able to take in the scene that Bill has already seen. The mice are kind of chatting anxiously about around themselves, and
The rats.
Rats.
the rats are chatting anxiously amongst themselves.
Well
Their
done, Kevin.
voices are scratchy. It really does seem like they've been in here for a long time.
Well, it looks like they're making some sort of meal. So if I use the poison from the snake fang, we can poison their meal.
Do we have to
Looking
kill
over it.
them immediately?
They're rats.
You,
So I was
you being
really hoping
defenders,
Tommy was going to correct me there.
I think you being defenders would know that like rats are not to be trusted. They're bad news. That's kind of the default opinion among defenders.
Okay, so we're racist, is what you're telling us.
Yes.
But we don't have to be good guys.
You don't have to conform with the defender status quo. I'm just saying you'd be unusual.
Yeah.
Do they look weak? I mean, if they look skinny, do they look
They're,
like
incredibly weak,
Like emaciated level.
emaciated.
do they have any weapons?
Yeah, they've got weapons on them. It looks like some of the weapons are new, like new as in not old and rotted, and some of them have been scavenged from this tomb. It looks like.
How many ranged weapons do they have? If any?
How
It
many
actually
swords
looks
do they
like
have?
you have time to take stock of all that. You're able to count 2 swords, and then 2 of them have bows.
I mean, if the two of you can coordinately
When-
take out the bow ones, quickly.
When you threw
one
that
over.
rock earlier, did they pick up their weapons when they went to examine?
They definitely did.
They did. Okay.
What if we all just hid into the Assassin's Creed ledge takedown where we all just grab them and throw them?
Then one of them would be left alive and would be so confused.
And then it's 3-on-1.
Uh,
I mean,
2 of us have slings. We
Alright.
can try to hit the 2 ranged guys and then barter for the other 2's lives.
or we could just. You said, so there's a banister at the top of this whole thing, right?
Mhm.
So would it be reasonably easy? Like, would it require a check to hang on the banister and go laterally along the wall?
Nope, that seems
So we-
pretty.
So we can get above them.
Well, no, because you're on the same kind of plateau as them.
Oh, okay.
The
But we can
banister is
surround
running
them.
around here.
Oh, we're on like the edge of the ground. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we work our way unseen around the edge to get to that structure, or is that like against a back wall?
You could kind of pick your way. It's just that the gate here is perfectly well illuminated by the fire. So like around the perimeter here, it's kind of harder to see anything. So you can sneak around without any checks. Once you get close to the fire, that's when it starts getting.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then what if we had you two with the slings come around to either side of the structure? Because you could then use those walls as cover. Peek out, throw your sling, duck back in, and they have to come into melee range, which will give you more time to get another slingshot off. And I can wait along the very bottom, like the bottom center, and after you initiate, come up and try and sneak in to, take another one out in melee range. We all go at the same time, or, you at the same time, and right after we.
How does the
take out
ceiling?
three right away?
Sorry, what was that,
How
Kevin?
does the ceiling look? Just before we do
So-
anything.
If we're gonna draw a section of it, it's like
Mhm.
you've come in at the bottom here, and there's a kind of stone thing
Mm-hmm.
straight across,
In the back. Yep.
railing, and then there's a structure on the back with sort of like a central tower, and then 2 kind of side areas, right?
Oh.
Right, and then you've got kind of like a cavernous with like stalactites and whatnot.
Okay. Well, is there a stalactite that happens to be above where they are currently cooking their dinner?
Yeah, I would say so. They're big and beefy, but maybe you figure some way.
Mm-hmm.
Are any of us dragonborn?
I
Roll
don't
for
think so.
Dragonborn. There's a 0% chance that you're Dragonborn,
Ah,
but you can
dang
roll
it.
if you like.
One
10.
other.
It's not 0.
Am I Dragonborn?
Nope. Well, you think you
Aw.
might be.
You know, see this? See how my paw is all scaly? I think it's because I'm a dragonborn.
I mean, I think 3 of us in a surprise attack is the best way to fight
Yeah.
a chance at this. These guys seem like they could go down from one good hit.
Agreed.
That's the rats as soon as we attack.
Kevin's roommate agrees too.
Okay.
What's that?
I think we can attack together. I agree.
Okay. Yeah, you guys
Okay.
are able to like kind of sneak around and surround them. So you've got 2 ranged attacks coming in. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who do we want to hit? The people with the bows or the people with the swords?
People with the bows, I would say,
People with
so
the
that
bows.
we're no longer in danger.
I have one more
Okay.
before we all split up. One more part to add to the plan. I have a whistle, so I'll get into position at the bottom. You guys get in position at the sides, and then I'll give the whistle. That'll draw attention towards me, and your slings will come in at the same time to take out the bow guys and distract them again, and then just chaos. And then I'll rush in and
Well,
try and take out.
Does this
the other
plan
one.
leave any room to get information from the survivor?
If we immediately take out 2 and I get the 3rd, and there's one left who's terrified because his friend just got killed by assassins, then maybe.
But wouldn't that... I feel like in that scenario, they don't want to talk to us.
I don't think they ever want to talk to us.
We haven't tried talking yet.
So this structure that's on the back of the platform is the only way up the structure from the front areas that are well lit, or is it potential that I would be able to climb up the side or back of it?
You could. It's got the same kind of like ice-covered stone issue as the main monument.
Yeah.
So it'd be tricky, but you could climb up to the top of it if you want.
No, I'm not gonna force that.
Okay.
No, let's just go with our ambush. Whatever happens, happens.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, if you're doing an ambush, then the people making ranged attacks can make an attack roll.
I will make my attack.
So shall I. I only
you
work in
targeting-
Or
threes.
no, I need to be rolling a d6. Don't I?
Are you attacking
Sling
the
is
ranged
D6.
people or the melee people?
Range.
The ranged people.
Okay.
I got a 6.
I got
6
exactly
damage.
half of what Kevin got.
Okay. So
Take that as a given.
Peep's whistle kind of echoes through the cavern, and you see all 4 of the rats perk up and immediately take battle positions. This now being the second thing that has unsettled them in the last couple minutes. As they stand up, Miner and Bill, you take aim at the ones with the bows as they raise their bows, and both of you hit them squarely on the head, knocking them unconscious on the spot. Let me roll strength saves for them. That's a fail. Is that a fail? That's not a fail. So one of them, the one that Miner hits with the decisive blow, just like flops onto the ground and goes still. The other one that Bill hits kind of staggers a little bit and looks dazed, but is still standing. Peep, would you like to do anything else on your first round?
Yeah, I mean, unless the whistle was my action, I would love to just go in and take an attack.
Yeah, we can let you go in and take an attack.
So I will charge in. Are they like are any of them distracted, or they all see me running in?
I mean, I think they will stand up and immediately look in your direction when you whistle.
Yeah.
So they know you're there. The 2 shots coming from the flanks will get the ones being shot at looking in that direction. So they're disoriented. You have time to run in.
Okay. then I will come in and trying to figure if I should just finish the one that we already injured or attack one of the other ones.
So that'll be the
Um,
dark red one.
I think I'm gonna go for the bottom right melee one.
Okay.
Just assuming that I will be of less danger from the ranged one if he does try to attack me since I'm so close. I will spear him.
Okay.
Sure.
Make an attack roll. The rat is screaming and cursing and saying, "No, no, please, no!" As you drive your spirit in. Spear in 6. He makes a strength save and fails. And you skewer him with one decisive blow and kind of like flip him off your spear.
Y'all, I feel a little bad.
There's 2 remaining, and now they're gonna respond. The one archer is gonna look up, see his friend get skewered, and quickly loose a shot at 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 Pete. That is D6, 5 damage.
At me?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I
You're
don't
the
get
only
any
one he
benefit
can see.
from being so close to him.
Nope, you're not within melee range.
Well, no strength damage. I'm okay so far.
Okay, and then the sword rat is gonna take out his sword, and he's gonna kick the embers of the fire to dash the fire and cast the entire place in shadow.
Mhm.
And then he's gonna run away into the shadows.
Is my torch still lit?
Uh,
I guess not, because we
I would
rested.
assume since you rested and since you climbed up a wall that you've extinguished your torch.
Okay, fair.
Otherwise, you got a hot seat.
It is your turn again.
Well, I am going to pull my torch out of my bag and light it.
Okay. You illuminate the area around you, making both your surroundings visible and yourself very visible. You don't see any rats within the immediate vicinity. It appears that in like the moments that the lights were out, they've gone and hid.
Okay.
Oh, both of them got away.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a victory.
It's a victory with an asterisk.
As long as the battlefield is clear, Peep thinks he's won.
Yeah. Last one standing.
Okay. Because I don't know if they might be too frail to jump over the edge, so I guess Minoram's gonna run for the structure in the center. It seems like they were very intentionally out front of that, so presumably they entered it. So he's going to go in the left staircase entrance of the
Well,
structure.
there's a solid metal, well-built gate right in front of this, so it doesn't like you would know just from looking at it that they couldn't have gotten in there unless they have some sort of key.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, can I look through the bodies of the 2 rats that we did take out?
What did I write down?
One of them holds $100,000.
You
Yep.
find not much, frankly. You find some scavenged weapons. You find some, you find a bow with some ammo, and then like 10 pips between a lot of them. You don't find any food, any rations or anything of that sort.
Not
And
the meat that they were cooking?
While you're picking around, you recognize that the meat is, well, there were probably more rats.
Yep.
All right. Well, Minoram is going to fiddle with the fire that got kicked out and see if he can reignite it using his torch.
That's easy enough to do. The embers are still hot. You kind of collect the logs. It looks like the logs are bits of scavenged furniture.
Mhm.
Collect them, make a fire, and light it, which takes you a couple minutes.
Yeah, and then he'll
it
look around
illuminates the
go ahead.
entire top, the entire plateau that you're on. It does look like the rats just kind of jumped over the side.
Okay. Well, they're not going to be able to climb back up here very easily. I think we're mostly safe for now.
Uh, Bill looks around to see, like, how many rats were there at one point?
You see a few empty bits of clothing that might have been another rat. Maybe there were like a dozen to begin with.
That were
Just
stuck in here,
given
or
the size of the size
Hmm.
of the camp. I mean, you don't think all of them were up here. Like you think that it was probably like a dozen went into the cairn and couldn't get back out.
yeah, one of them we found obviously on the table in the armor room.
Mhm. They've probably been here for weeks.
Oh, they weren't experienced enough in fighting doors like we are. Do we
The
want to take a quick breather and do a short rest, or do we want to more fast them?
I don't need a short rest, but
I'm out
I'm
of
curious if the. Oh, okay. Yeah, we
But-
can do one then.
Maybe we don't want to risk it.
I'm curious that the rat that I hit right off the bat, if he is unconscious or dead.
He's dead. You caved in his skull. Like
What about the
you're
one
doing
that
very
I
well.
hit? The one I hit was
Uh,
dazed. He got away.
Well,
He got
he got away. He was the other archer, and then the other one was run through with a spear, so obviously dead.
So that we know that there are at least two out there somewhere.
Yes.
Uh,
I guess I'll just take a lap of the edge and see, like, along the bottom, if my torch casts light that far, if they're just like crumpled down there, or if they managed to actually get away.
Yeah, it does. You kind of take a lap, and it looks like the one jumped out over here and then got trapped between like there's a little alcove up here, and was already bleeding out. It looks like that was the archer that Bill. So he's dead down there.
oof.
The other one, it looks like he jumped down here because there's a small impression in the snowdrift, and
Yeah.
it looks like there's a hallway going out this way.
Okay. Then I guess since I don't really need a rest, I'll just watch over that hallway until we're done.
Then we'll do a short rest?
Sure.
Cool.
During the short rest, you can take stock of the structure before you, and it does look like in the center of this tower is where the key to the mechanism that opens the gates. Looks like that's where the keyhole is. It's pretty large. You think it might be like you've seen keys for the humans, the really big monster giant things. Looks like it's that size of key, like
Wow.
big old.
Weird.
Yeah.
Doesn't make much sense. So, is it on the front of the tower? Do we have
It is
access
on the
to the
front.
key?
There's sort of like a metal plaque thing here, and then there's a hole.
Here.
Well, if it's that big of a keyhole,
Looking in past the gates, you see that there's kind of winding stairs going down. Very steep stairs, actually. Almost like
Is
they
there a
weren't
roof?
built for mice.
Hmm. Were they built for rats?
Nope. Definitely not rats. If it was built for rats, it'd be way less neat.
So is that just a gate? Like, is there a roof to this area? If we were able to climb the wall, would we need to worry
There is a
about the
roof over
floor?
it, yeah.
Okay.
It's like, this is like heavy stone, and it's like a tunnel through the stone. It's not even like this is a whole room.
But there's a keyhole to the gates.
Mm-hmm.
and if the keyhole is large, like human monster size, presumably I can just reach my sword in there and start picking around.
Yeah, you can. You can. And you find like you kind of bat against some, you can hold the torch up to it and even see inside of it. There's like delicate metal machinery inside that's way beyond your, mousy brain. And like you can kind of like poke some pins in, but you can't get enough leverage to kind of hold them.
Oh man, I'm such a dumb mouse. Maybe I'll just do some random things like twist the hook slightly inwards to create some tension and start poking the pins up one at a time to see which one's
Your sword isn't big enough to get that sort of leverage.
But what about my fish hook?
We don't know how to pick a lock.
You don't know how to pick a lock.
I was making a joke.
We don't
We
know how
also
to
don't
pick a
need to.
lock.
This is
We
the
are.
one-
This is desperation.
Wait, is this the? This is the door. This is the lock for the gates there, or this is the mechanism for the front of the cairn gate?
Sorry, what?
I made an assumption that I'm realizing may be incorrect. This big keyhole unlocks those little gates to this staircase, right? Or is
I mean,
it
you don't know.
to...
You've never turned it.
Okay. Well, the first time you said it, or the first time you mentioned the keyhole, I thought that you said it opened like the very first gate that we came to, like the sliding sideways door.
Oh,
Did I completely misinterpret that?
I don't remember saying something like that.
Okay.
That wasn't my intention.
I think you said gate, and I just filled in that gate. So that's the kind of key that we're looking for, is the big one. Probably. Okay, cool. Well, there is one more direction forward that we could, follow down.
Yeah, I think we
and
have
then
to take
chase
that
down
one.
Another rat.
Since this is sort of like a angled way down, Minoram's gonna take his tent, like all of the fabric and stuff for his tent, and just throw it down, and then he's gonna slide down the side, landing in the softer material.
Okay, yeah, no damage, and there's a snow drift as well, so it's very soft.
Yeah.
Bill is going to take Peep and throw him down and slide down in much the same way.
Okay. Okay, yeah, you guys make it to the bottom, and you see this is more organic. It looks like it's just kind of been carved in the ice by wind, something. It is like for it being it's spring outside. This seems like it's been frozen for eons, like completely icy. And you make your way down, and finally you make your way into a cavern that's a little bit taller than it is wide, and up at the top there's a kind of crevice that's opened to the outdoors, letting in natural light. It's well out of reach. It's up high, and you see you're on the other side of that ice wall that you saw at the beginning. Here you see scrabbling up the wall the last rat. He can't get a good hold on it, and as he hears you coming, he turns around and says, "Wait, no, don't kill me, please. I didn't mean to disturb your slumber."
I slept quite well, thank you.
Does that mean you're not going to kill me?
We haven't said that yet.
Depends on what else you say.
He's like,
Why are you here?
Why do you think we were sleeping?
we're just here. We're innocent grave robbers. We're not doing nothing out of the ordinary. It's just making a living. We've been stuck here for a long time. There was no way out. The door's sealed behind us.
How did you get up on that platform? We had to get past a very rowdy snake, but you seemed very... I don't know. Which way did you come in?
We came in through that armor room where the suits of armor attacked us as soon as we touched anything.
Mm-hmm.
We're no good. We had to leave behind Rodney.
Pour one out for Rodney.
Yeah, well, it's better
Rodney
he went
rat.
out then. Better he went out then than what the rest of us had to do. Listen, I'd just like to get out of here alive, if that's all the same to you.
What
I
were
think
you
we're all
hoping to
looking
get from
for
here
this.
in the first place?
We heard a rumor that there was some magical something or other in here.
Well, you didn't happen to find a key, did you?
No, ain't no key. If we'd found that key, we'd been long gone by now. Been all over this cave. If that's enough, information for you to leave me alive, I'd really appreciate it.
I bear no ill will towards him, and if he ever tries to betray us, we'll simply snap his neck.
I guess fair's
Does
fair.
some good to show mercy every now and then, I suppose. Keeps the world in balance.
So all you needed was a way out of the cave?
There ain't no way out of the cave as far as I know. I don't know how y'all got in.
We have a certain set of
press the button.
skills. We can press buttons real good.
Listen, I don't
No.
know if I'm much good to make the trip back anymore. Hey Scott, I'm real cold since we've been here. Real cold. Uncannily cold, in fact.
I shoot a glance over at Bill, whose backpack is currently glowing with frosty energy.
You know, it's weird. It is.
Now you said-
It's been real cold recently.
Now you say you've explored all over this cave, but all we've really seen so far is the armor room, the snake pit we came from, and this icy wall. Where else have you been?
We explored the whole place. I don't know about no snake pit. Must not have triggered that one. But we lost the couple. Lost the couple to that armor room, and didn't see any way out.
What I'm trying to do right now is compare our notes to his and see if there's any portions of the map that he discovered that we did not.
Yeah, I mean, you're able to talk to him for a while, and it seems like you've explored a lot of it.
Okay.
I assume that they have not. There's a crack in the armor room, in the corner. I assume they didn't go back in there and try to get out that way, or.
If you ask him that, he'll tell you that they didn't want to go back in there.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
You go. That was just me thinking.
Miner at this point is gonna walk the rest of the way down the tunnel to where that thin ice wall is, and just sort of like brush it and see if it's the same one he was working on earlier.
It is. Yeah, you're able to kind of clear up the ice and see through. Back, like the door that you smashed in is visible through the ice.
Okay. And then is there any more of those supplies they were burning, like furniture or just scraps around in this room?
Yeah, I mean, this room is not so much a room. It seems like it's just been frozen over and hollowed out by something.
Yeah.
Although now that you kind of take stock of that is kind of strange as a natural formation. But yeah, there's no furniture in here. You did see a lot of furniture back in like the more built parts of the.
Well, at minimum, we do have a way out of here eventually.
We also sidebar.
I very
we
much would like
our-
to find that key.
We did leave the door open, right?
Yeah, I
you-
left the front
yeah.
door open. And the armor stands have presumably returned to their... Or armor has presumably returned to its stand. At
We
this
hope so.
point.
And, I mean, there's that gap that the rat was going for. We've been pretty good at climbing so far.
That seemed more like a crevice sharp at the bottom, unable to escape type situation than a gap to get out of.
It's really, really slick, but you can see daylight out of it. It does seem like that was
you
what
mean the armor room gap?
No. Where you're standing,
No, this one on the left.
there's a crack in the ceiling that is, sure enough, very tight and very slick, but you can see daylight. I guess waning daylight. It looks like it's becoming nighttime outside.
Well, we will have to stay here for the night. It's not the next town over is not very close, so there's no way we'd be able to travel through the night. But back to the point at hand, we really need to find that key. It's the whole point. Whole reason we came. This whole thing would be for nothing.
For nothing? Says Bill, thinking about how cold his backpack is right now.
Yes.
Well,
for
not
nothing.
nothing,
He says
but
very deliberately. No, nothing.
Yes,
I
nothing.
I have a feeling if we return back now that we would end up with the same mission all over again.
What is the rat doing now that we've kind of taken our fill of it? Is he still just trying to climb the...
He's cowering. I mean, he knows he's caught.
again, I bear no ill will, so I'll just tell him, hey, if you gather up whatever scraps, if you're able to get back up on the platform and put it by this wall and burn it, you'll be able to get out the front door. This ice wall's thin enough, you can melt through it, get home safe.
Is the area with the plateau? Are we able to go from this cavern to the other cavern? Like, what's the very south wall? That makes sense.
This south wall.
Yeah. Like, is there a
It's kind
path?
of like
Can we just
frozen
walk?
over. It's like kind of like the ice has grown up to the. And so you would climb up and then have to drop back down.
Okay.
Either way.
I mean, we could. We haven't investigated that other chasm in the armor room.
Was there
Seems to
another?
be the only.
In the bottom right corner, there's a
Oh,
gap.
I thought there was daylight coming through there.
There is.
Yeah, but maybe there's something else over there as well. It seems like the rats haven't gone that way. So I don't know. Maybe the key is over there. Maybe the key's outside. Or
Maybe the key
Can
was the friendship
is there
we
any
learned along the
indication
way.
where the waterfall was that we saw before going in, where that connects to the rooms we've been in so far?
Waterfall.
You said there was a
There's-
waterfall outside, or like a water feature or something that we could potentially.
it was on the
There's
east side.
So the east side isn't like it's not a water feature. It's just like there's frozen like cascading ice down the stone.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Um.
So presumably that matches up with where we are now.
Well, so you guys are over here now.
Mhm.
So this was the side with the snowdrift.
Oh, that's west. Yeah.
Um.
I wonder.
For the sake of brevity, we can say that you guys thoroughly explored the entire catacombs, spending hours upon hours exploring and exploring and exploring, encountering dangers on the way. You find no sign of any key of any sort, and eventually give up hope. It just doesn't seem like it's here.
Well, in the meantime, because he's planning ahead, Miner is going to gather up some furniture, wood pieces, pile them up in front of the snow wall, and then just light them on fire. Because he knows that either way, we're probably going to have to do that eventually.
Okay. Yeah, and you did think ahead enough to seal up the front door, so there is a way out now.
Yeah.
You foiled one of my traps. Jerks.
Well, perhaps our quest isn't quite as ended as I thought. Seems there may be another step to find whatever giant ancient key we need to actually access this powerful weapon. But at least we're now familiar with this set of ruins. Whoever comes next will come more prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should write all this stuff down so we don't forget about it.
I guess the only other thing would be the armor stands. Like, if we found a way to kill them if something would happen, like we release their souls or something. But like we couldn't even damage them.
Yeah.
We only tried once,
again.
to be fair.
You have heard tell of ghosts, and you are familiar enough to know that they generally can't be hurt except by magical weapons or silver weapons.
Mm.
Neither of which we have.
You can always head back to the rest of the defenders and, give them what we learned. Make a map of this place. Whoever comes next can come with magical weapons, silver weapons, tools to either pick the lock or make an individual key.
What was the quality of the... Or I guess we don't even know what the keyhole unlocks, so there's no point in checking the quality of the door. I guess the gates that are blocking the staircase, what's that situation? Like, are they rusty? Are they...
They seem uncannily pristine. Like, it looks like they were installed yesterday. It's a safe assumption that they're somehow enchanted.
Yeah. But what about the wall next to those gates?
You didn't bring any picks with you. I don't know. I think at this point, like, it's safe to say that you've kind of exhausted every option.
Okay.
You've thoroughly investigated this thing, and there's just no and it takes you hours and hours to search the entire place safely and securely, and you're just retreading old ground at this point. And as you're doing that, the storm outside is getting worse and worse and worse.
Well, we've found a safe enough room. I say we use what rations we have, wait out the storm, and head back for more resources.
I agree. In the meantime, while we've got some time to kill, perhaps we can repurpose that old map you had into a more useful map. Can present that to leadership when we get back, and might help whoever comes out next.
I suggest drawing on the other side of it. Oh yeah, map is being used to hold the thing.
If you recall, the map is currently wrapped around the ice crystal thing.
I mean, I think it's safe to assume like one of you has a journal and you can jot down the map.
Yeah.
You can write drums in the deep in a shaky hand. Yeah, I mean, I think we'll skip to an epilogue here. I think the stories of Miner, Bill, and Peep are coming to an end.
Are we all going to freeze to death in this cave in a never-ending storm because we refuse to smash the crystal?
The storm is just getting worse and worse. And sure enough, in desperation, you try and smash the crystal. Some sort of mad idea that this crystal is the reason for the storm has possessed you. You hear the wailing of ghosts getting closer and closer. The crystal just won't smash. It seems to be magical. Obviously, it's magical, but it seems to be magically preserved. Eventually, in desperation, as you see the snow sealing the front door, covering the entire cairn in a snowdrift, you decide to make a last-ditch effort to abandon this quest and make it back to civilization. But no matter how far you travel, the storm follows you. And
because we're carrying the crystal?
Before too long, your rations run out, your progress is slowed immeasurably by this unending blizzard. In madness, you hunker down, you try to wait out the storm in the wilds, and before too long, it's the end. There's just nothing left for you. And then Major M, what are your names?
Oh, Major M, Sorrel, and Butter.
Major M, Sorrel, and Butter wake up in the warm shallows of the lily pond, having had the strangest dream.
Oh, I feel so warm and comfortable.
And that's where we'll end.
Cool. Feels good to play again.
I don't know why, but I have the sudden urge to see my family again.
I dreamed of my cousin. He was dead.
Bitter hatred towards doors for some reason. Stubbed my toe recently and forgotten about it.
I think I just learned what a bird is.
Oh yeah, crap! There is one more thing that I meant to mention. Yeah, there were crows circling you the whole time you journeyed out of there. As you were trying to make it back to civilization, there were crows circling.
The whole time, Bill was like, "If I could only get my hands on one of those."
Yeah, I mean, it's infuriating because there's meat right there.
I think with Minoram's growing intensity throughout the quest that he used the snake fang and coated his blade in venom and was prepared to ruin the meat before the crows could get to it.
I love it. I think this was a lot of getting back up to speed, but I hope you guys enjoyed it.
This was fun. This was a really good one.
Great. And like you said, I think it's a good calibration for combat and difficulty in general.
There was a lot of I need to check that roll. How does that work again?
We should all go through the packet again before we play next.
I'm gonna have to read it for sure.
I remember playing Major Am very boldly, but knowing that this character was not going to move on to another session empowered me to continue to play boldly, more so than I thought I was supposed to.
As soon as Ben opened up by I charge across the open field, I was like, oh, these guys are gonna die.
Yeah, I mean that was the goal. I'm shocked that we all made it to dying of pseudo natural causes.
hmm
Mhm.
I did. I was like, I could let. I mean, it was like Peep was unconscious, and I was like, technically he should stay unconscious. And I was like, that's not fun. So
Yeah.
you wake up. But so there was like, I think
You,
you guys
until you get tended to, I feel like it would have been possible, but because we were still like in
still
the
like
same
in
snake.
combat. Yeah. And the snake might have got you if
I,
Peep wasn't so heroic and brave.
mhm.
Stupid.
I think there would have been validity to the armor stands because we had no way to deal with them to
Mhm.
continue to like follow us throughout.
I thought about it and I was like,
You know,
that could be fun, but it didn't really like fit the rest of the dungeon.
I get it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
actually,
think
to
I'm
be honest, the
realizing
initial plan was they don't leave the armor room, but then you had the
Mhm.
clever idea of like luring them over, and I was like, that sounds fun.
I
We'll let that happen.
because we just had the tea with like a couple rooms off to the side. And I'm like,
Yeah.
surely there's more.
Yeah.
Well, I think the one thing is like you guys didn't explore around the perimeter because like you found other ways in as you were
Mhm.
exploring, and
Yeah.
so it would have the whole thing would have felt differently if you'd approached it from another angle. Which is
Yeah.
one thing that I do appreciate about this system is like they insist that if you're doing a dungeon, there has to be at least 3 entrances, like to make it interesting. So
Mhm.
that
That's
is
cool.
that's definitely like if I'm
I feel like
presenting you an obvious entrance, it's probably not the only one.
Yeah, that's a
I
cool
think
way to
the
do
thing that
it.
I realized the most with the combat is that the number of enemies is by far the most important thing.
Yeah.
Like one snake is infinitely less scary than like 2 rats in an even fight because the enemies always hit and always do at least some damage. And the amount of HP you have is so low that any damage to like your strength or whatever is more than likely a knockout because it's a like a roll below a 7 at the very least.
And I really appreciate like it's
So
like you're on par with the rats. You're not like some adventurer who's got like godlike powers to take out
Yeah.
bandits. Like the rats are just as strong
yeah,
as you for the most part. So
yeah, you need to disable one person or do a coordinated sneak attack. Like in a straight fight, someone's going to go down. It also, I realized how easy it is to do a short rest and get your HP back.
Mhm.
And it seems like you should never go into a fight with less than your max HP because then you're going to die.
But you also
Yes,
have to
I do
worry
think
about
it's
the fact that other factions are doing stuff while you're short resting.
so
Yes,
it's
but it's
I mean
10.
that's the long rest. The short rest
Oh, okay.
is I've got a like a sheet on the side. I guess it's a whiteboard, but I've got a whiteboard on the side where I'm keeping track of how long you guys are in there. So every so often I roll a random encounter, which I've been thinking like I've been planning these dungeons as if you're gonna get random encounters, and then I never roll them because it's a 1 in 6 chance every 30
Mhm.
minutes. So I've been thinking I
Uh,
might increase those odds just because it's probably more interesting than just like wandering around
Mhm.
mostly empty dungeons. Like
Yeah.
there were like ghost encounters, there was like you could have encountered more of the rats and like
There could have been like a
none
cave
of that.
in.
None of that happened. And like I rolled a 2 at one point, which means there's an omen, which is why you saw the kind of shadow slinking around in the snow.
Mhm.
But then it like I need to both roll a d6 and then also I need to roll an omen and then also roll the same encounter on the table
yeah,
later, which is like a 1
Is
in 36 chance. Like so I'm going to tweak that, I think. I'm going to house roll that. So like if there's an omen, the next encounter is going to be that
Yeah.
thing.
yeah.
And then I
That's
might
cool.
even increase the odds of getting an encounter.
if you want, Brandon, is that table in the PDF that you shared?
No.
Somewhere probably.
The random encounter table?
Oh, it's. I mean, I build the table for every single area.
Okay.
Like, it's
Because
just.
what I was gonna say is I could set something up for your GM tab where you just click a button and it will roll automatically, so you don't have to worry about doing multiple.
It might be nice. So one thing that would be nice is if I could increment the timekeeping just by hitting a button
Yeah,
instead of having to
absolutely.
like. Let me send you. There's a sheet that they like a blank sheet that I based my whiteboard off of.
Hmm.
It'd be so much easier